Welcome back to Filmonomics at Slated. I'm Steph Paterno, and a happy 2015 to everyone. I hope you've all survived your polar vortices and snowstorms wherever you are in the world. This is the time of the year where a lot of people are getting ready to go off to Sundance, as they do every January, and as usual, the statistics that get thrown around are how there are 4,000 plus films that submitted to Sundance, only 130 of them or so that are going to be shown at Sundance, and of course, over those, only maybe 75 or so that are going to get picked up. Now, that seems to be a typical average every year, but it adds up to 2% of films having a chance to recoup their money. So that may not be a new statistic to most savvy independent film producers. However, it's important to note that that means there's 98% of films that are losing their investors' money. And the question is how did those investors end up in all of those films? Why aren't they all looking for the 2% that can make it? Now, I know the film industry is, of course, about storytelling. It's creative. It's impossible to compare one film to another. Well, yes and no. It is an art form, but it can be quantified, especially when you sort of go back up to 50,000 feet and look at the thousands and tens of thousands of films that have ever been put out there. You can see trends and patterns and silver linings appearing all over the place. Now, if you look at other fields, such as the technology sector, which has been my background for a long time, it's a highly creative field. No two companies are alike. No two teams are alike. No two business concepts are alike. And they are ever changing. Depending on where the market shifts, you have to shift with it. One day it zigs, you zag. And along the way, you make a million course corrections on the way to success. But there's a big difference in how they start their business compared to how you start your film. In the tech world, you typically start with a really strong business plan. It's brief, and it's highly focused on what matters. What's the size of the market you're going after? What's the strength and experience of the team that's going to execute it? What is the service, and what's the competitive advantage you're going to have as you execute that particular product? What's the competitive landscape? Who are you up against? What adjustments should you make in order to be differentiated from that product, especially if you're competing side by side in the market on the same time frame, in the same geography? And last but not least is the model. How much money do we need? How will it be spent over time? How much money will we make? What are the unit economics of every single step that we take? Now, all of that married together can provide a very compelling story to investors. And investors, certainly the savvy investors, are always looking for this plan. If the plan is unsophisticated, investors pass. If it's sophisticated enough, they believe they might be on to the next Uber or Facebook or whatever. The point is the entrepreneurs and the investors have learned to speak the same language. And when the entrepreneurs speak a high caliber, sophisticated language, it attracts the smart money. And that's where you end up being one of the 2% of tech companies that blows up. Yes, believe it or not, your odds of landing on a winner in the tech sector are probably lower than 2%. I'm being generous when I say 2%. So there's a lot of comparables of what your odds of success are in tech as they are in film. The problem is the approach in film. We all know that this is a wild and woolly business. No two films are alike. But where it all starts, again, is usually with somebody who's passionate about a script and is convinced they have the next greatest avatar on their hands. Well, it's such a subjective, non-standardized analysis, it's impossible to know whether your script even comes even close to being as good as an Avatar or insert whatever film you love. But aside from the subjective analysis of the script, it doesn't speak to what's the business plan, what's the whole 360-degree execution of this. What market are you going after? What target audience? I mean, maybe it is a geographically limited target you're going for, a particular language, a particular country, a particular time of year. Maybe it's a political topic, so it's current event related. It maybe needs to be something that is part of the zeitgeist. There's so many other variables you need to know. You need to know what the competitive landscape is. Are you up against other films of the exact same subject? You don't want to be the fourth asteroid colliding into Earth movie coming out at the same time of year. So you need an industrial strength level of data and analytics and intelligence to help you create this 360-degree view. That is what will help you. Now, if you could even come up with a way of making sure your script is that good compared to others, that would help as well. And if you can arm the investors with the same tools, it will help the investors find the 2% of films that are going to make the money. I want nothing more than for every producer to have a shot at becoming one of the 2% successes. And if we help move investors from the 98% of films that are losing money into the 2% that are making money, soon enough it'll be 3% of films making money, and 4%, and 5%. So you really need to be thinking about the 360-degree view, and you need to be thinking about how to speak the same language to your investors and to educate your investors. You don't want the investor that has the least experience coming in, because that doesn't really raise the bar. You want a sophisticated investor buying in because your plan seems better than everybody else's. There are a lot of platforms and tools that exist out on the internet that can help you raise the bar. Our goal is to educate you the best we can and eventually provide you some of those very tools. But we're not there yet. Hopefully in the near future we will be. Anyway, that brings me to the end of this segment. There's a lot more to talk about, but we'll hit that in the next couple of weeks. Thanks for tuning in as usual. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next week.